Good evening. Welcome to this meeting of the Board of Education. This meeting is being televised live on AACPS TV and streamed on AACPS YouTube channel. General information and protocols for the meeting are posted on the sign by the doorway as you enter the room, so please make sure you read these if you have not already. Please pause for the invocation. O God, we pray to administer that which is just in all educational policies, being ever mindful of your guidance, stir us to action with love, wisdom, and understanding. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That brings us to item 2.03, approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Consensus? Thank you. Item 2.04, establish agenda order. Do I have a motion?
Move to adopt the agenda as written.
Second.
Consensus? Thank you. Section 3, public comments on agenda items. We have no public comment on agenda items this evening. That brings us to Section 4, reports. Item 4.01, the Krask report. Ms. Fidel.
Good evening, President Tobin, Vice President Silkworth, members of the board, and Dr. Riddell. My name is Michelle Fidel. I am a sophomore at Chesapeake High School. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm very grateful to serve as Krask Secretary of Education. We would like to begin with sending a big congratulations to Mrs. Mary Kay Connerton for her Maryland State Teacher of the Year award. We are super proud of you, Ms. Connerton, and we know that you represent the awesomeness we have here in AACPS. We wish you luck as you represent Maryland for the National Teacher of the Year. We are rooting for you. Since our last Krask report, Krask hosted a hybrid town hall, virtual town hall, and an in-person executive team meeting. At our meetings, we addressed student concerns, brainstormed ideas for our upcoming General Assembly, and began planning workshops. Want to find out more about voter registration? Join the League of Women Voters of Maryland and the Maryland Civic Education Coalition for an online voter registration webinar and Q&A at 7 p.m. on Thursday, October 19th. Learn about the importance of voter registration and how you can help with voter registration drives at your school or in your community. Voter drives are scheduled for high schools beginning on November 6th. Find out more information at www.aacps.org/voterdrive. On November 9th, Krask is excited to collaborate with SEAT, Student Equity Advisory Team, and SSL, Student Service Leadership, to host a General Assembly at South River High School. Students will hear from keynote speaker Dr. Lamar Shields, take part in student-led workshops, and complete a service project. If you are interested in this field trip opportunity, make sure to talk to your school's SGA advisor. On Saturday, November 18th, MASC is hosting its Fall Leadership Conference at Seneca Valley High School in Montgomery County. Permission slips were sent to high schools this week, so ask your SGA advisor about this event. Deadline to register is November 8th. Now, throughout these past weeks, high schools have been full of excitement. Schools hosted Spirit Weeks, pep rallies, and homecomings. The event were unifying, enjoyable, fun, and created amazing memories. Thanks to SGA, administration, and others who helped plan, set up, and execute these events. These were really fun, guys. The best one was Barbie Day, literally, Barbie Day. Now, if any student wants to find out more about CRASC, make sure to check the calendar on the CRASC website for a list of upcoming meetings and leadership events. Thank you, and see you in November for the next CRASC update.
What a way to start a meeting, Ms. Fidel. Thank you. Do we have a PTA? Okay. All right. So,
Good evening, board members and Dr. Bedell. My name is Christine Crandall, the president of the Anne Arundel County Council of PTAs. The next AAC PTA meeting will be held virtually on Monday, November 13th at 6 p.m. We look forward to seeing all of our local leaders. To ensure that you are receiving important AACC PTA messages, meeting registration and training information, please send us your local PTA unit officer contact information to info@aaccpta.org or contact us on Facebook. Please also reach out to us if you are in need of assistance with compliance issues. Financial reviews are due as of October 31st, and upcoming deadlines include IRS tax filings due November 15th, and charitable registrations due December 31st. Please also contact us if your board is in need of training, specifically president or treasurer training. There has been a lot of concern regarding the upcoming redistricting. We hope that the board takes into consideration all the parent feedback and is able to facilitate a smooth transition to phase 1 redistricting. The pandemic was an unsettling time for all of our students, especially those more fragile populations. We trust that the board will make good decisions for all of our students and families. The reflection theme this year is I am hopeful because local PTAs can sign up their school by going to www.pta.org/reflections. Deadline for submissions to AACC PTA is December 23rd, 2023. More information can be found on our Facebook page. If you have any questions or need further assistance, please contact the AACC PTA Reflections Committee at reflections@aaccpta.org. The award ceremony will be held at our March meeting, and the winners will be work will be on display. As always, we encourage and challenge each board member to join at least one PTA this school year and maybe even attend a PTA meeting to hear firsthand the issues in the community.
okay, thank you very much. So that brings us to item 4.03, the CAC report. Good
Don't worry,
evening.
it's not full of stuff. Good evening, Dr. Tobin, members of the Board of Education, and Dr. Bedell. I'm John Conwell, here representing your CAC, Citizens Advisory Committee, and the Executive Committee. With us tonight is actually Vice Chair Erica McFarland, and of course the Secretary Jamie Herman Cugnet. I can't never say her name right, Cugnet. The CAC met earlier this month on October 9th. Its first in-person meeting in a number of years. We couldn't quite figure it out. It was a very good occasion. People got to actually see each other and connect in a way that you just can't do virtually. And so it was very nice to do that in this very room. We were very privileged to hear from Mr. Silkworth, Vice President Silkworth. Very motivating, and the depth of knowledge and background that he brings from his many years of experience were not lost on us. And we look forward to continuing that dialogue with each of you and certainly with you. So thank you. We discussed the CAC role in board policy with an emphasis on bringing information from our community, other Maryland school systems, and other stakeholders in the educational process, whether they be national organizations or the like, and how we can best help synthesize that information in a way that makes a better decision by the board. We also reviewed a list of the board policies that have been referred to us for review and the expected timeframes for board consideration. At the meeting, we focused on 3 of the pending policies in our breakout sessions. They were student attire and personal appearance, which we believe you will be looking at sometime in the winter, educational equity, which we think you'll be looking at sometime this fall, as well as the eligible riders that is also up for consideration this fall. The other items are certainly of much importance, but the timelines push these to the front. The committees will be meeting, and they are meeting, between now and our next board meeting or our next executive meeting. And at that time, we'll let them meet again. But we'll also take under consideration or begin to look at the electronic based devices and all of the things that go with that that are up in several different policies. Our next meeting is a virtual one. It's November 13th. And we look forward to seeing some of you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Conway. Mr. Silkworth.
Thank you. I just want to address this comment to my colleagues here on the board. I had the opportunity to attend this CAC meeting, and I was absolutely thrilled, amazed at the awesomeness of the members of our CAC. Our CAC in the past has done some great things. I just want everyone to know that they motivated me to the point where I will be at the November meeting. I will be at the next meeting. So I just want to thank you and all of the members of the CAC. We are so lucky in Anne Arundel County to have such wonderful stakeholders to help us. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, it is a critical committee for what we do here, and we appreciate it. That brings us to item 4.04, Budget Committee Report. Ms. Frank.
Thank you, President Tobin. The Budget Committee met Monday with the stated goals of creating a draft internal board budget to be submitted to the full board. Department enhancements are due by November 5th. A finalized version of this will be sent to the superintendent to be reviewed for the inclusion of the budget, which will be presented on December 20th. Additionally, our committee reviewed draft policy DBK, classification of fund balances, and recommended an edit to the policy committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Frank. That brings us to item 4.05, President's Report. So before I get to one of the things I want to talk about, I wanted to offer Mr. Silkworth a moment to mention something that he wanted to mention tonight.
So thank you, Madam President. It's first of all, I would like to say it's really an honor and a privilege to be able to provide also my congratulations to Mary Kay Connerton for having been selected Maryland Teacher of the Year. She is truly special and unique, and we are all so very proud of her and her impact on our young people here in Anne Arundel County. In recent times, so many of our teachers and staff have received local and/or national recognition, and tonight the accolades continue to pour in. So if we did not have this Board of Education meeting this evening, I would be at the DoubleTree Hotel in Annapolis for the Anne Arundel County Sports Hall of Fame banquet, which is an annual banquet, and I've attended that for many, many, many years. This evening, there are 5 inductees, and we would be remiss if we did not honor them here tonight, very briefly, as they are being honored at the induction ceremony. The 2023 inductees are Michael Evans, lacrosse, George McGinney in lacrosse, Lee Rogers, girls basketball, Nicole Woody Tyson, wrestling, and the recipient of the Bernie Walter Memorial Award tonight is none other than Tim McMullen from Brooklyn Park and Broadneck High School. I will tell you that the impact that these individuals have had on our students in the classroom, on the playing field, and in life in general has been absolutely awesome and fantastic. Tonight, we honor these outstanding 5 educators and coaches and athletic directors for everything that they have done for our kids. They touched the lives of many, they changed the lives of many, and they have written countless pages of history in the history books of Anne Arundel County schools. We thank all of them, and we wish them the very best. Thank you, President Tobin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Silkworth, for that very important recognition. I would also like to talk about the fact that Dr. Bedell and I had the incredible pleasure of being at Tyler Heights Elementary School last week when FedEx teamed up with Operation Warm to provide every single student with a new winter coat that they got to pick out themselves. Exactly the color, the style, everything that they wanted. I could talk for a long time about this, and the photos you see on the screen don't do it justice. However, a video done by John Francis of our TV team captures it perfectly. So take a look. We're here today to celebrate an amazing gift from Operation Warm and FedEx for our students here at Tyler Heights, one of our Title I community schools. And we are thrilled. They're going to have a chance to pick out their winter coats, exactly what they want.
What it does for me is it once again reiterates the importance of community coming together to help support families in communities where they may experience some level of financial distress.
We're here to give back. We service the community in a number of different ways, from packages to big and small. But this is the most important way we can serve the community, to give a coat to something that we sometimes take for granted, that the kids think is a huge deal. And so that's the rewarding part for us.
It feels so warm, so I can be ready for winter.
And we know that when children feel safe, when they have what they need, the clothing they need, they feel good about it, they do better in school. And that's our goal here. So we're so grateful to our partners.
When I say schools can't do it alone, this is an example of corporations stepping up to help us, and it's going to be a game changer.
That was a wonderful day. And just so you know, for any child who picked out a coat, wanted a color maybe that they didn't have there in their size, FedEx overnighted it to them, so they had it the next day. So that was a beautiful day. And the teachers said to us, we're so relieved and we're so grateful because when the first cold day hits, we don't have to worry if our kids are warm and have what they need. And one little girl came up, I think, to one of the teachers and said, and I quote, "It's my ever first new winter coat." So thank you to FedEx and thank you to Operation Warm. All right, and that brings us to item 4.06, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Bedell.
Thank you, President Tobin. As many of you have heard of the wonderful news regarding Mary Kay Connerton of Annapolis High School being selected as the 2023-24 Maryland Teacher of the Year, many of us were on hand Friday night to celebrate that announcement. In fact, the Anne Arundel County Public School contingency had 5 tables, by far the most, and showed the support that we had for Mary Kay. And to be honest with you, as they were preparing to make the announcement, my hands were shaking and I thought I was getting the award. I looked at Dr. Tobin and said, I don't know. I said, I'm nervous as heck, like it's me. And when they called her name, it was a big sigh. I dropped my head on the table and like my heart was just racing. But maybe it's because it's something that I always wanted and wasn't, I guess, in the classroom long enough to obtain that. So I'm living it through her. But here's what I can tell you. The joy that I saw on her face, and it's not just the joy on her face that night, but when I went into her classroom several times to watch her in action and to think about the work that she's doing around mindfulness, health, wellness, addressing some of the mental and social distress that kids show up with. And it's a very innovative program. It's probably one of a kind in the country. And it makes me believe that as she goes out to compete for the National Teacher of the Year, that innovation is something that ultimately will make her a strong candidate for that National Teacher of the Year. Mary Kay is the 5th county teacher to win the state of award, and we're going to do everything in our power to support her. So while I don't want to steal this moment from her, but I'm going to keep reiterating this over and over because I have a responsibility to tell this story about what's happening in Anne Arundel County. And for people who have not listened to a board meeting, this stuff is unprecedented. I don't know in my career that I'll ever work in a school district, including this district, where you will have the state 2023-2024 Maryland State Teacher of the Year. We are home to the 2023-2024 Maryland Elementary Principal of the Year. Anne Arundel County is home to the 2023-2024 Secondary Principal of the Year, and she's now one of 3 finalists for National Secondary Principal of the Year. Anne Arundel County is also home to the 2023-2024 National Physical Education Teacher of the Year. So there's a lot that we have to be proud of around the talent that we have in this school district, and we'll do everything in our power to continue to promote all of the good work that these people are doing. So on to the next slide. Fans of our athletics teams have a great chance to see our awesome student athletes in action on Saturday when we host our first ever county championship showcase at Annapolis High School. There will be 12 contests in all, and fans can see 10 of those by purchasing a single ticket. The event starts at 8:30 a.m., as you can see on the screen, and more information can also be found online at the aacps.org showcase site. So we're looking forward to this upcoming Saturday. I want to take a minute to let everyone know about a video library we have online that you may not know about. Family Academy provides a library of videos, classes, and resources to answer questions about well-being and growth, academics and programs, and navigating our school system. Videos are available in both English and Spanish. The most recent additions are about the diagnostic tool iReady, what it means for students and families, and how it's used in our school system as a predictor on how our kids are progressing. Family Academy videos can be found at www.aacps.org/Family Academy. And we feature one each week on Family Academy Friday on our social media pages. Lastly, I want to provide an update on vacancies. We continue to see improvements in many of our areas, and as you can see, the number has gone down even further for custodians. We've improved with food service employees. Our bus driver situation continues to remain static in terms of having 0 bus driver vacancies, but you can see there's a little variance here with classroom teachers, and that's to be expected because we're in a period where there's just not a lot of candidates. We know December graduates are getting ready to graduate, and there may be some opportunities as our HR department is working with some of our local universities to potentially find some additional new educators coming into the field. But to have 5,700 teachers, somewhere in that range, and only have 98 teacher vacancies, I know the workload on our teachers has been significantly reduced from a year ago. And we also know that there's a lot of positive morale because there's a full complement of staffing at a number of our schools. I do want to make note of this piece regarding transportation. We are seeing a slight increase in the number of down bus routes from day to day, but it is not due to a lack of drivers. It's due to us having driver illnesses and us not having a bench. We're still working to fill and populate our bench, and we're asking folks in the community that may have interest in wanting to work in any of these areas to reach out to our human resources department, and let's try to get folks employed. But I am thankful that we're moving along, and I feel like these numbers are going to continue to improve as we continue to market and publicize all of the great things that are happening in our school district. Madam President, that concludes the superintendent's remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Bedell. Yes, that was a joyous night, the Teacher of the Year, and go Panthers. Okay, thank you. So that takes us to section 5, consent items, award of contracts.
Can we bundle those, please? Move to bundle items 5.01.
Second.
Okay. Do we have consensus? All right. Dr. Bedell.
Madam President, the superintendent recommends that the Board of Education authorize the award of the consent items, the award of the contracts dotted 5.01 through 5.03.
Thank you.
So moved.
Okay. Seeing no lights, Ms. Howell.
Ms. Dent? Mr. Lynn?
Aye.
Mr. Soakworth?
Aye.
Ms. Frank?
Aye.
Ms. Ellis?
Aye.
Ms. Corkadell?
Aye.
Ms. Schalheim? Dr. Tobin?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you. Section 6, action items, 6.01, administrative personnel appointments. Dr. Bedell.
Madam President, the superintendent recommends that the personnel listed on the attached sheet be promoted and or appointed as discussed in executive close.
So moved.
Okay. Seeing no lights, Ms. Howell.
Ms. Dent? Mr. Lynn?
Aye.
Mr. Soakworth?
Aye.
Ms. Frank?
Aye.
Ms. Ellis?
Aye.
Ms. Corkadell?
Aye.
Ms. Schalheim? Dr. Tobin?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you. That brings us to section 7, review items.
Thank you, Madam President. For the FY 2023 operating budget closeout, we will have a brief presentation by Matt Stansky, our Chief Financial Officer.
Good evening, Mr. Stansky.
Good evening. For the record, Matt Stansky, Chief Financial Officer. I will be brief, but wanted to inform the board on September 29th, the accounting firm of Clifton Larson Allen signed off on our financial statements. Happy to report that for the second straight year, we had no internal control weaknesses identified in our audit. So that's a positive. But what I want to do tonight is just briefly walk you through where we are. I think there's a lot of positive news as we closed out fiscal 23. Just a reminder to the board that was, the start of the fiscal 23 year was a record year for us, right? Record revenues, both at the state and county level. We're able to pay 2 bonuses to employees throughout the year. So overall, a positive year. And I think we ended the year on a good note, but want to, give a foreshadowing of some stormy weather ahead, especially as it relates to healthcare. So the first chart you see in front of you is really for the accounting nerds of the world. It's our modified accrual look at our financials. We have our 4 main funds: our general fund, which is obviously our operating and grant budgets; our food service fund; capital funds, which is our CIP; and our non-governmental funds, which is our school funds, athletic gates receipts, things like that. So overall, we are sitting at about $134 million across all funds for fund balance. Most of that is restricted for certain uses. If we go on to the next table, that will be the one that's more relevant to the discussion this evening. On the next page, this is where the unrestricted general fund ended throughout the year. You can see in fiscal 22, we ended at $22.2 million. We've increased that fund balance total to 36.3, which is good. Obviously, 15 million of that is already spoken for as a revenue source in the fiscal 24 budget, but that does leave us roughly about 2.7% of general fund revenues, which is a good percentage and a good range. And again, foreshadowing our amendments to the fund balance policy and identifying those ranges that we want to stay within as we move forward. The third slide is where the news isn't so great. Healthcare, like many industries right now in the United States, is experiencing significant growth due to inflation. And as you can see from the chart here, we had to dip into our fund balance roughly $11 million to pay our claims through the fiscal year. You can see from fiscal 21 to 22, we only saw an increase in expending by roughly just shy of $2 million. That number jumped up to $25 million in fiscal 23. And so we're going to now spend the rest of the time talking about why that is, and the plan moving forward to try to right the ship here. So we'll move on to the next slide. We'll go to the next one, please, Diane. Thank you. Just to level set us, right? AACPS provides medical, dental, prescription, and vision coverage to active and retiree employees. We are self-insured, meaning Care First is our administrator of the plan, but all claims and costs come to the district and are paid directly. We have 15,800 active enrollees, meaning that's active employees and retirees, but are covering dependents all in, totaling over 34,000 lives covered in our health insurance plan. So a significant plan that and a significant benefit that we're providing to both active employees, retirees, and their families. Go to the next slide, please. So this next chart gives you a 7-year depiction of where we were in the healthcare fund. At the top, that line graph shows both medical claim increases or decreases, prescription claim increases, and then overall. And you can see how volatile the industry is. So for a certain time, especially obviously during the COVID years, we saw relatively flat growth, or even in some cases a decline in claims, and then obviously a spike in 2021. But you can see the jump from 2022 to 2023. The bottom chart just gives you a comparison of prescription claims, medical claims, as compared to our fund balance. Obviously, for those who are following or here in the 2016, 2017, we had a significant problem, not really by our cause or our doing, but had to fix it. So our fund balance dropped into the low 8 million through a combination of increased contribution from both AACPS, the county government, and our employees. We were able to stabilize the fund and have a stable fund for the next 5 or 6 years. But as you can see, from 2022 to 2023, we saw, obviously a significant decline. We'll go to the next slide. So what is causing this nationally? In perfect timing, the Kaiser Family Foundation just put out today their 2023 survey of employer healthcare. And what we are experiencing is not unlike what other large organizations are experiencing. But inflation is the number one factor, right? Healthcare wages grew over 7% nationally. Employment growth is strong in healthcare, but obviously those costs get passed on to providers, who then get passed on to employers who are paying for insurance. Obviously, prescription drug costs continue to grow, especially as these specialty drugs for acute diseases continue to be created and out on the market. And so as those new drugs get put to market, they're wonderful, in some cases, life-saving treatments, but they do come at a cost. And so we're not immune to those cost increase as well. So what are we going to have to do about this moving forward? We will be presenting to this Board of Education a second quarter supplemental and transfer request. I have no doubt that additional funding into the healthcare fund will be part of that request. And as we present our 2025 operating budget to this board in December, I have no doubt that there will be a request for new permanent recurring revenue to go into the healthcare fund to help mitigate what we're seeing is significant growth. I did fail to mention the overall percentage did grow over 12% this past year. Through September of this year, we are seeing a year-over-year increase of about 4.6%. So not 12, but 4.6 is still significant on a 200 million plus healthcare fund. So we were fortunate the last couple years to see relatively small growth, but I think this, coupled with a few other programs that we have in the district, are now really getting hit hard by the inflation bug. And the frustrating thing with inflation, as you all know, is it's more money for the same level of service. And so we're going to have to really dig deep to ensure that we can maintain this level of service while not impacting what we're all really here to do and fund, which is programs and services for students. So with that, Madam President, happy to answer any questions you or the board may have.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Corkadell.
Not a question. Sad about the healthcare, but very, very glad, and congratulations, Mr. Sansky, on you and your team. As always, delivering our district with just outstanding service. That audit report that you had given at the very beginning, I just wanted to commend you and your team for another year of demonstrated excellence in transparency and trustworthiness. Thank you very much. And yeah, that's the healthcare thing is very sad, and I think there's going to be a lot more sad news coming in the coming year or two as well. But thank you for being on top of it, and I'm confident we'll be able to work through it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Bedell, did you want to add something?
Yeah, Mr. Mosier and I met earlier today, and he's like, you need to be careful not to forget people. And I'm like, we're forgetting people. But Matt Stansky, that's another one. When we talk about state awards, Matt Stansky he received the first annual top state chief finance officer for this school year, selected by his peers around the state. So I just need to let you know, like, this guy is talented, man. So I needed to put that out there.
We celebrated that enough.
He's celebrating.
Focus should be on Mary Kay. So yes, thank you.
He's so happy when we do that to him. Yes.
Yep. Mhm.
All right. Seeing no more lights on that issue, Mr. Stansky, the next.
Oh, the next one is just if you have any questions, happy to answer.
Any questions
No
on the monthly
presentation.
financial status? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Stansky.
Yep.
All right, that brings us to section 8, public comments on non-agenda items. This is one of the opportunities that the board provides to hear the views and receive the advice of community members. The members of the board appreciate hearing from interested citizens. As appropriate, we will refer your concerns to the superintendent for follow-up by his staff. The board will hear public comment from up to 10 total speakers, a combination of virtual and in-person, during a single public comment section for items not on the agenda at the end of this meeting. The link to register to comment before the board opened at 3 p.m. on the Friday prior to this meeting. Registration closed at noon on the Monday prior to this meeting. Speakers may sign up for no more than 2 agenda items, but only once on any individual agenda item. For any item with more than 10 registered speakers, the board will employ a lottery process to select the speakers. Registrants who secure a slot to speak were notified by email at the email address they provided when they registered. All speakers will be allotted 2 minutes and must address the specifics of the item for which they sign up. No speaker substitutions will be permitted. If your name is called and you are not present, we will move on to the next speaker. For anyone who was not selected to speak at today's meeting, you may email your comments to the board office at boardoffice@aacps.org. While we encourage public input on policies, programs, and practices within the purview of this board and the school system, this is not the proper forum to address specific student or employee matters or to comment on matters that do not relate to public education in Anne Arundel County. We encourage everyone to utilize existing dispute resolution processes as appropriate. I remind everyone that any inappropriate personnel remarks or other behavior that disrupts or interferes with the conduct of this meeting are out of order. Persons using language that is threatening or promotes violence against members of this body or Anne Arundel County Public School employees are subject to legal penalties. Persons who otherwise disrupt or disturb this meeting will not be allowed to continue their remarks and will be asked to leave the meeting. It is not the board's general practice to engage in question and answer session with speakers. For the record, please give your name before speaking. Handouts should be given to the board assistant. I ask that speakers observe the 2-minute clock. A yellow light will shine when you have 30 seconds remaining, and a tone will sound when your time has expired. Please conclude your remarks when you hear the tone. If you continue after your time has expired, the microphone will be turned off. It could also be turned off if a speaker addresses specific student or employee matters or are commenting on matters not related to public education in Anne Arundel County. So with that, I would like to call up our speakers. First, and I hope I get name pronunciation correct, Sukana Kirmani. You can either stand at the podium or take a seat, and I'll call all 4 speakers and then you can begin. Laura Day, Miles Schulman, and Bridget Long.
Good evening, President Tobin, Dr. Bedell, and members of the board. My name is Sukana Kirmani, and I'm in 8th grade at Arundel Middle School. I want to talk to you guys about Flex Block and reducing the amount of lesson time in advisory, and opening more time for academic support, clubs, and homework. Last year, we had Flex, and this year we don't, which is totally understandable because we needed more class time. But when it comes to students needing additional help, the school schedule says that help blocks are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. At Arundel Middle, it's really only Tuesday and Thursday after school. And a lot of students are unable to stay after school for whatever reason, like soccer practice, or their parents are just busy. But whatever it is, not all students can stay after school and get the help they need. A solution for this could be dedicating Wednesday morning advisory time as a help block, instead of doing second step lessons. On Mondays, we already have community circles, and on Wednesdays, we already have second step lessons, and on Fridays, we have drop everything and read time, or dear time. So in total, the lesson time for community circles, wellness, and SEL lessons is 123 minutes. We can reduce that to 82 minutes by having lessons only on Mondays and Fridays. So in conclusion, I think students getting help from their teachers and getting their work done should be more prioritized. Just an additional 41 minutes a week can really help students improve their academic performance and really understand what they're learning by getting the additional help they need from their teachers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Day.
I want to talk about sidewalks. It's fantastic that AACPS is partnering with the county to explore safe routes to school for 17 schools. I am, however, disappointed that Hebron-Hardman Elementary School is not one of the selected schools because we need a sidewalk along the street in front of Hebron-Hardman Elementary School, not just for students getting to school, but for the safety of all students attending school and also the community at large. I ask AACPS to collaborate with the county and finally put in the sidewalk in front of the school that should have been put in when the school was rebuilt 15 years ago. Not having a sidewalk along Ridge Chapel Road in front of the school is dangerous. People routinely walk on Ridge Chapel Road to get to and from workplaces and to access Matthewstown Park and Joe Cannon Stadium. Since the paved trail is unlit, many people choose to walk or run along the side of the road when it's dark in the mornings and evenings, making them potential targets on the road with a blind curve. There are sidewalks along much of the side of the road, with the exception of the property that the AACPS school and fields are on. At the school in one direction, the sidewalk turns abruptly into the school campus. In order to traverse the distance on a sidewalk, community members need to walk right up to and in front of the school. On the other side, there's a non-ADA compliant, unlit paved trail with a steep grade that runs along the school athletic fields right by a playground and turns in one direction up to the school itself, and in another meanders on for a short while and then abruptly ends, but not in this fun Shel Silverstein way, but in a disappointingly a few yards short of the bus stop loop. A community street level sidewalk would help bolster campus security by diverting unnecessary people from being on school property, especially during the hours that school is in use and when people are arriving and leaving, by giving the community members moving about our neighborhood with no need to be on campus, but who do need to get past the school, the option to walk right on by at street level.
Thank you. Mr. Schulman.
Hello, my name is Miles Schulman. I go to school at Northeast Middle School. We have a major problem with people taking advantage of the school lavatories. I have talked to many different people at my school, and they agree, and they feel uncomfortable using the bathrooms at school because it's very crowded, unclean, and destroyed, and people using vapes and THC pens. I'm sure many other schools and AACPS are going through the same problem. After talking to teachers and staff, they say that there is something we have to do. Did you know that the way these students get a hold of these vapes and THC pens are from their parents giving them to their kids? They do this for multiple reasons, as such as they want their kids to think they are cool, and they don't want their kids buying them off the streets, and they feel that since kids come home from health class and tell their parents that these devices are bad, and these parents give these devices out of guilt to try to stop them from being mad at them. Not only is this illegal, this is also causing their kid to be addicted to harmful devices, as they use these devices in the bathroom, and many people who try to use the bathroom for correct purposes feel uncomfortable with these people using the devices. These kids using the vapes in the bathrooms also tend to skip class in there, and when kids go to the bathroom, they yell at them and can sometimes harm them. I know that many kids who need to use the bathroom go to the nurse's office and use the bathroom in there. I am sure that if you check the yearly survey, many students will agree that they feel unsafe in the bathrooms. This is not how it is supposed to be, and there should be something to fix this problem. A solution would be creating a paper next to the bathroom where you sign in before you go and write what time you enter and leave. And you can also report anything broken. This will help know what time period this happened and who might be a suspect. As you can see, this is a major problem, and kids should be allowed to use the bathroom.
Thank you very much. Bridget Long.
Good evening, President Tobin, Dr. Bedell, and members of the board. My name is Bridget Long. I'm a student at South River High School, and this is Yash from Chesapeake Science Point. First of all, we would like to thank Food and Nutrition Services for the hard work they do, especially with recent stocking shortages, but we believe our school's meals do need to be fundamentally reformed. Our meals do meet nutritional standards. However, the suboptimal quality of the fruits and vegetables cause students to avoid consuming a balanced meal. The lack of variety of nutritious options in our lunches deter students from enjoying them. They often end up tossing more than half of it, which is increasing food waste in our county. And even worse, some students will skip meals altogether. The lack of a meal with balanced nutrients directly affects students' concentration and learning, and the lack of an entire meal in the middle of a school day takes an even worse effect on the learning abilities of students. What we're asking for is a higher quality nutritious lunch. We'd like to see a menu similar to Montgomery County Public School lunches. You should have a menu handed to you later or shortly. MCPS was able to create a menu that offers students a variety of fruits and vegetables, many from local farms. They've also paired up with local chefs to create a variety of entrees that provides students with a tasty, balanced meal every day. MCPS was able to offer this to students for $2.80. That is 20 cents less than our $3 lunches. We believe that it is essential for a lunch during the school day to be nutrient-packed, appetizing, and fueling meal that empowers students and their learning for the rest of the day. For some low-income students, school lunch may be the only meal they receive that day, which is why it is imperative to offer meals that support student success. We would like to see meals reworked so that Anne Arundel County Public Schools can offer its students the best fuel for education. A better school lunch means a better community of learners. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I just want to thank all the students who came out tonight, those who came out, but I especially want to thank our students. We are tremendously grateful to you, and please keep coming. Thank you. Dr. Bedell.
Yeah, I normally don't respond to comments. I just listen and we process, and folks are already taking into action some of the things that you've said. But what I most appreciate are the solutions. I need you all to know that. I tell people can complain and complain and complain and don't ever offer a solution. And all of you offered some solutions and things that we can think about and consider. So for that, I do want to say thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I would enter a motion to enter executive closed session.
That one.
Mr. Silkworth.
Madam President, I move that the board go into closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction, or any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. All Also, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice on a legal matter.
Second.
Do we have consensus? Thank you. Good night, everyone.